So let's just, oh, there she is. She just landed right over here. Did you see that? So that answers the question, will she come back? In a previous video, this hive was starting to swarm in the month of August, so I did some things to try to stop it. Today we're going to drop back in there. I caged the queen, fingers crossed. I hope she's still healthy in her cage and they haven't started raising other queen cells. Let's jump in here and see if we did indeed stop the swarm. Hello my friend, I'm David Burns, EAS Certified Master Beekeeper. Today we're going to have fun looking at this hive, seeing if we did accomplish two things. We're trying to stop a swarm and we're also trying to cut down on the mite population by caging our queen, providing a brood break in the colony. Let's get in and take a look. Today is August the 25th, 2026, 80 degrees Fahrenheit. First thing we need to do is take off this honey super that we added to it to cut down on the swarming tendency. And right here you can see the queen cage. Be sure and join me this Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central Time for my live stream on beekeeping. I'll be having some cool giveaways. One of the things I'm giving away is going to be a jar of my own honey. I seldom give away my own honey like that, but it is so good and I harvested quite a bit, so I want you to taste this. So join me Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central Time for a chance to win a jar of honey. All right, so we're hoping that the queen is in here and that she is alive. We caged her a little over a week ago so that we could cut down on the chance of them swarming. So let's see if she's in here walking around. Let me get some bees off of here. All right, let's get these bees off of here. Oh, yep, she's, if you can see here, she's marked and she's walking around and she's in good shape. So we're glad to see that. Now, this little bee here is slurping up some of the honey that was on that comb right there. And notice how it looks to me that they tried to tear down the cork that I had in there, but didn't quite get it done, I don't think. So thankfully they didn't. All right, so let's keep her in the shade. Let's don't put her in the sun. It's something important for all of you to remember. Probably on my cart underneath my super, we'll just lay her right there in the shade. She'll be fine. So we want to make sure that this frame, these two that are next to the queen cell where it was, that they didn't add some more queen cells to it. Now they probably are going to be more honey. Yep, like that's kind of what I thought. So, but make sure we don't have swarm cells on the bottom. I don't see any there. Looks good. Okay, we have brood here, and we do have a queen cup, just a cup. And let's see, how can I make sure they see it? I don't know how well, and I can see in the cup when the bee's not blocking it and it is not charged. There's nothing in it. So that's a really good sign that they did not take advantage of the absence of their queen walking around and try to raise another queen during the little over 10 days that I had the queen out of there. 7 to 10 days, I think. I do see another queen cup over here on the frame next to it. These are the challenges that exist when you do try to use this mite control method of caging the queen to break the brood cycle of the bees, that they can raise their own queen, and they have. If you see right here at the top, let me show it to you. Since their queen was caged, they did find very young larvae, and they decided to replace their queen that was no longer an option for them. She was caged, and they couldn't get her out, so they have to stay alive. Now, would I keep this supersedure cell located at the top of the hive, like top of the frame like this? No, I will not. I will get rid of that and give them back their queen. Hopefully they'll accept her. Because at this point there are no eggs young enough in there for them to raise a queen. I looked at the other frames. I didn't see any other ones there, so I think this is the only one that I see. Okay, so I removed that cell off of this frame. Now, what I'm going to try to do is a direct release. This old queen cage is just It's just going to keep the frame from sitting against the killing any bees. It's going to hold this frame up. There we go. Now what I want to do is take my queen here, their existing queen, and hopefully she'll come out and it will not be a problem for her and she'll be accepted. She's been in the hive with them. The cage has been, like for a week or so. She might be a little flighty, but we'll give it a good try here. Let's see how it goes. It would just give me a little more better feeling if I can get them to accept her. She'll be walking out any minute. Okay, she's not walking out because they're feeding her from the backside, and she's going to stay there where the food is. So let's go ahead and open up this cage, snap it in the middle. All right, oh, there she is. All right, well, she lifted off, and this would be a good thing to kind of watch for. A lot of you say, hey, I was installing a queen and she flew away. What do I do now? Will she come back? Yeah. So let's just, oh, there she is. She just landed right over here. Did you see that? So that answers the question, will she come back? Everything's good. They're surrounding her like they're supposed to, not bawling her angrily. So let's just go ahead and get her back in the hive. Now, why would she fly if she was mated? And the reason she flew is because for about a week, she was not being fed an ample amount of royal jelly. And so that allowed her to kind of be a little slimmer. This was just there to hold that frame up. Okay, so that's good. We did accomplish it. We did it. We did see the supersede your cell, which was normal. Why wouldn't they want to supersede her if she's confined to a cage? They have no future, right? They don't know she's ever getting out. And so they took a fertilized egg and they raised a queen, started raising a queen. We removed that supersede your cell that was capped over, and that allowed us to release this queen. She did fly a little bit. She landed back, and lo and behold, they liked her. She's back in business. So we're hoping now that we have alleviated the swarming instinct that they had briefly in August. Let's put this frame back in there, and it goes right here. You can put these frames in the middle, like I'm doing here, provided that they are thin, what I call thin frames. You don't want to put a fat frame in where it would drag against the other frames beside of it. But if it's thin enough where it's not going to bother the frames next to it, it's fine. Wow, that is amazing. Okay, good. So that's awesome. We had a brood break for about, I think it was 10 days. That brood break is going to cut down on mites. And if you're not familiar with the way the brood break works, if you break the queen's brood cycle, you're breaking the Varroa destructor's mite brood cycle. They can only reproduce on the capped cells of honeybees. So by caging the queen for a week, we're actually keeping that queen in a very populated hive, keeping it from laying in an August potentially swarm season. We can actually do the math on that. If she lays 1,500 eggs a day and we broke her brood cycle for about 10 days, let's say, and it might be less than that because of the time of year that it is. It could be 10,000, but let's say we prevented around 10,000 bees from being born in the future. That means if there's 2 mites for every capped cell that will emerge, 2 mites will emerge, then out of 10,000, we've potentially cut out 20,000 mites. That sounds like a lot, but that's not going to be unless there's a high infestation. But you get the point. This is a mite control method that has worked really good by caging your queen for about 5 to 7 days. I do this once in August. I'll do it again in September, and I may do it again in October if the weather is decent and I can still get in there. It's just a way of not using treatments to continue to reduce mites. Now, only do this on an extremely populated hive. If you need your queen to be laying eggs to build up, don't cage her. You know this. I've already showed you in the last video. That I'll leave a link in the at the end of this video about when we first did this. But you can see that it's a very populated hive. So what we're hoping for is that by, there's a lot of bees, you can see. What we're hoping, what we did was we destroyed this fall instinct to swarm right now. We cut out the swarm cells in the last video. We cut all the swarm cells out. We caged their queen so she couldn't leave if they did want to swarm. And we gave them extra room. It's a super on top. So we did everything we could. It doesn't mean that I might have not, I could have actually missed a swarm cell somewhere. I don't think there's other ones. Probably to do it right, I should have probably gone through every frame again and looked, but I'm pretty confident without putting that much in here of labor that they're in good shape now. Now there's a lot of bees on here, and let's just get these back in the hive like this. That gets them off, most of them off the top cover. Make sure they're off the walls, the side of the hive. Well, when I was a younger beekeeper, I thought people were crazy when they talked about bees swarming in the fall. I'm like, no, there's no way bees are going to do that. But wow, do they swarm in the fall? And I want you guys to really be aware of this. It's going to be frustrating if you think they're not, and then all at once your bees start swarming. So I've got a video explaining exactly how to go in there, look for swarm cells in the fall, in August, in September, and do something about it. Because listen, if half of your colony swarms now, they're going to be so small, their chances of making it through winter are very slim. So you want to prevent swarming in the fall like we've done here. Watch this video of this hive a couple of weeks ago, and I'll show you how to look for swarm cells and how to deal with it. See you over there.